Okay, today I'm just we have completed with subqueries and quarter subqueries, right? Today I'll be going to for learning about the normalization concept. This is just one of the small concept. Okay, it's a completely about the theoretical part and having the knowledge before creating the table or before inserting the values. You can follow this normalization method. So we have already discussed about, right, what is normalization. Do you guys remember initially we have discussed about the normalization concept, right? Anyone aware of that? I have given you, right, normalization. There is one differences. Remember?
Splitting
Yes.
single table into multiple table.
Okay, that is clear. Correct. But I told you where I have thought about normalization. Initial
DBMS,
SQL. Yes.
DBMS, RDBMS.
DBMS, RDMS.
Yeah.
RDB.
DBMS will not support the normalization, right? RDBMS will support the normalization. So why RDBMS support the normalization? What's the purposes we have to use the normalization? So everything will be discussed on this today's sessions. Okay, this is just a initial before RDBMS, right? Before you creating or inserting the data, we are planning for this RDBMS, right? How do we pick up for this table? Is it a table? Is it a RDBMS follow? All the information is followed, all the rules are followed. That time this is also one of the rules we have to follow before creating the table or before inserting the data into the databases. Okay, so basically what is this? It's a nothing but it's a database design techniques. Database design techniques. Okay, so, and this generally, what is the normalization? It's a dividing complex table. Okay, it's dividing complex table into several smaller table. So you have a complex table. Okay, you have to divide with several like it's a, multiple smaller tables. Okay, simpler tables, smaller tables, and I'll tell you how we can able to based on this only the it's a converting complex table into several smaller table, like understanding the table we are using this. Based on that we have a three kind of normal rules will use it. First normal form, second normal form, and third normal form. We have a three rules kind of this. Okay, for normalizations. And this basically when we who is introduced for this normalization? EF code is the father of normalization. Who is EF code? Is a RDBMS
Father
father,
of
Yes,
RDBMS.
co-founder of
co-founder of RDBMS?
S1.
Yes or no? And here for EF code is the he is the person, like he is the one person is proposed to normalization theoretical in the year of 1970. Okay, in the year of 1917 itself he is introduced us. So he is introduced based on the first normal or second or third normal forms in the up to we have multiple normal form, but we are following only the first and second and third normal form, normalization form in the specify the tables. Okay, and we have it's since it is a converting as a complex table into several smaller table, we are designing the database into such a way that there is no dependency or redundancy. So you know any dependency and redundancy, what is mean by this? Dependency and redundancy. Anybody heard about this? It's okay. Dependency means in the table, okay, wherever you have created the table, the column of the data on the values, it's non-primary key or column of the data. So in any of the table, you have one table, right? For example, employee table, you can take it. Okay. The column of the data, it's depending on the value with non-primary key or column of the data. What is mean by non-primary key? Anybody knows? What is mean by primary key?
Unique.
Yes. In this non-primary key means it's a
Like
it's
for
not a non-unique foreign key. Can I call it as foreign key?
yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. So redundancy means it's simple. It is nothing but unnecessary of repetition of the data. Whenever you have a repetition of the data, that will be the redundancy. So when you are using the normalization, it should not be the dependency or redundancy in the table. So that's the reason to dividing the complex into smaller table, we are going utilizing to the normalization form rules. So let's I can discuss with you guys like how we can able to create it first normalization and second normalization form. So what are the first normalization form rules? So till here everyone clear?
Yes,
Complete
ma'am.
is theoretical part. I'll give you the notes after this, okay? The first normal forms, what will happen first normal forms? The rules we have it, okay? We can call it as 1NF. Okay. Otherwise, we can call it as 1NF. So EF card is introduced, right? He has introduced 1NF, like first normal form, second normal form, and third normal forms. We have up to multiple, but majorly we are using for first, second, and third normal forms. So what is the rules of first normal form? If I'm using the any of the table, okay, when you're converting complex table into smaller table, what are the rules will follow the first normalization form? Every shell, okay, every shell will be having every shell in the table should be having the single value. So each and every cell should be having the single value. For example, you have, okay, let me, I can show you this one more time. So whenever you have two contact numbers, what will do it? Will add it? Yes or no? So when you're filling the any forms, so for example, you have some contact number or phone number. So some of the application will accept for two contact numbers. We can give or we can give comma and we can able to add the phone number. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
That will be the complex. Okay. So the SQL will not understand when you are inserting the two values into the particular cell. So that is the point only I'm telling here. Every shell should be having the single value. So each and every shell, wherever you have in this every shell, you should have only the single value. There is no repeated value should be present in the cell. That is the first normal form rules will apply. And second normal form rules. Each and every records should be on the unique. Okay. Each and every records in the table should be unique. Do we have a unique records here? Yes or no? Is there any Tejaswini data complete the same data will be having in here anything? No, right? You should consider for all the columns of the data. Okay, one row of the data. Do we have the same data here? No, right?
No, ma'am. No.
Okay. So the same way you should have a unique data of this cells. So let's I can show you the practical of example. For example, serial number. EMP name, and phone number, and here you have a salary, and here you have a address. For example, I can take it one, no, here it is 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So let I can take Vani, Pavan, Aishwarya, Sanjana, and here some I'll give random numbers 3, 2, 4, 5, 6. 4, 6, yeah. So I can give it alternative number here 8. Here I can give it, just I'm giving example for first normalization form how it will be work. Okay. I'll just changing some last number. Okay. So we have 2000, 4000, 6000, and here 7000. So we can have a Bangalore, Mysore, Bangalore, Hassan. Okay. So we have a complex table here. We can consider as a complex table. This one. Yes or no? So the phone number what is the first rule? In the first normal form, you should have a single values in the each cell. Correct? So how should I convert this value? You have to use it the same way. And here you should use the another row of the data. Okay, you have to give it. Now I'll be removing the like a double values in the cell. So making as a several smaller tables. Okay, here also should give the same data, but your contact number should be the different. Then it will be the unique values in the row of the table. So what is the mean of this? Like when you have a complex table converting as a smaller several table, that is called as a normalization concept. It's a completely the database design techniques. Understood? The first normal form, it should not be it should be there in a single value. So it's a followed, and it should be the unique. Now it should be the unique of this data because you have a different number. Got it? So whenever you're doing this data, then you will be overriding the table using the update methods. Yes or no? So that will be the replacing of your data. Okay. You're not keeping the complex data into the table. So using the update method, you can make it as a several smaller tables. Clear? This is the first normalization form will applicable. Understood? Okay. So let's take the notes on this. Then I'll tell you the second and third normalization form rules. Okay, first take the heading normalization. Normalization. Under that copy, it is not normalization is nothing but database design techniques. Database design techniques. database design techniques. Database design techniques. Under that copy, generally normalization, 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 dividing, dividing, complex table, dividing, complex table, complex table, complex table into several complex table into several smaller table. Generally normalization dividing complex table into several smaller table, smaller table into several smaller tables, and designing 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 a database, designing a database in such a way that, in such a way that there is no, there is no redundancy and dependency. There is no, there is no redundancy and dependency. Repeating once again, generally normalization dividing complex table into several smaller table, and designing a database, designing a database in such a way that, in such a way that there is no redundancy and dependency. There is no redundancy and dependency. Okay. Next, take heading dependency. Dependency. Under that copy, in the table, in the table, column data depending on the values. In the table, column data depending on the values, column data depending on the values of non-primary key or column of data. Column data depending on the values of non-primary key or column data. Non-primary key or column data. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Redundancy, redundancy, heading redundancy. Under that copy, it is nothing but, it is nothing but unnecessary of repetition of data. It is nothing but unnecessary of repetition of data. Unnecessary of repetition of data. It is nothing but unnecessary of repetition of data. Done? One second. So redundant is copied redundancy. Shall I repeat redundancy?
No, ma'am, copied.
Okay. So next line, EF chord, EF chord is the father of EF chord is the father of is the father of EF chord is the father of normalization, normalization and and proposed and is the father of normalization. EF chord is the father of normalization and and proposed normalization theory normalization theory in the year 1970 in the year 1970 in the year 1970. Done. Yeah. Next line, ef chord introduced first normal form first normal form first normal form ef chord introduced first normal form comma second normal form and third normal form etc till sixth normal form. You can mention like three normal form, right? Third normal form, etc. till you have sixth normal form, and boys code normal form. This is also one of the rules, but it is not required. As of now, it's enough for first, second, and third normal form. Okay, voice code normal form. Just aware of this. If you want to know about what is this sixth and boys normal form, just Google it. You will get it. Okay, for extra knowledge. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
So the next line. Suppose if the table is satisfying. Suppose if the table is satisfying first three normal form first three normal form that is first nf comma second nf comma third nf. Suppose if the table is satisfying first three normal form, then the table is what happened. Okay. Suppose if the table is satisfying first three normal forms, that is first NF, second NF, and third NF, then the table is said to be normalization form. then table is said to be normalization form.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Yeah. Suppose if the table is satisfying first three normal form, first three normal form, that is first NF, second NF, third NF, then table is said to be normalization form. Then table is said to be normalization form. Done. Next line. Complex table, complex table is identified, complex table is identified by applying the rules of normalization into the table. Complex table is identified by applying rules of normalization into the table. Rules of normalization into the table. Take the heading first normal form. In the bracket, you can make a note like first NF. Under that first point, each and every shell, each and every shell, each and every shell in the table should be having single value. Should be having single value. Each and every shell, each and every shell in the table, in the table, in the table should be having single value. Should be having single value. Second point. Second point. Each and every records, each and every records in the table should be unique. Each and every records in the table should be unique. Each and every records, each and every records in the table should be having unique records. Should be having unique records. So here, first and fourth row will be having the uh, double values. The first normalization form, what is the mean? It should be the single values. Okay. So for using this first normalization form, you are creating the it's a complex table into smaller tables. Understood? Yes or no? Let me, I can show you this. So you don't have examples like this, just as the design techniques. So understood the concept of this. So it will already apply the before inserting and creating the table. We already used for normalization form since we are doing the RDBMS. Okay. Now I am just showing the theoretical part how we have done it. Okay. It's already there. Don't worry about that. Okay. Clear? So you just copy this for your understanding. So this is the complex table and making as a smaller table now. So and easier to understand the table to follow the first rule of this, the first NF rules. So each and every cell should be having the single records. Got it?
Do we need to copy this, ma'am?
Yes. For your understanding, the design techniques, rules for after first NF rules. Let me know once it is copied. Shall I give you one more simple example for this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
So, for example, you have whenever you have a first normalization form, right? Before you have, I'll give you the some student ID. Okay, and here you student name, and here you have a courses. Okay, and now I'll give you the student ID is one. Here also one. Let me I can give Vani. Here also Vani. The ID should be unique. Yes or no? Here manual and here SQL. Got it? Same way, this is the table, right? I am giving another example. Okay. So is this the correct table? You have this is the only the one student is working is getting the two courses. Yes or no? Here, what happened? The data got repeated. Okay. And here it is what if Ravi's what is changes. Okay, let's after applying the normalization form, what will happen? We are creating the two tables. One it is student table and another one is course table. So student table, if I'll giving as a student ID and student name. Okay, here I used to give course ID, and course name. Okay, what is the student ID? 1 and Vani. It should be the unique now. And here, what is the course ID? Some I'll give 10 that I can give it. 11 is a manual and 12 is for SQL. So it should be the unique now. After applying the normalization, it is the now data is clear and connecting the using the proper keys. Yes or no? Understood? So here you have a before applying the normalization form, it will be the data like this. Okay, you have multiple datas on this. So I'll be creating the different smaller table, some complex table into smaller table. So what will happens? So whenever you have, so I'll be creating the two smaller table, like one it is a student table, one it is a course table. Got it? So here what I'll do it, student ID and student number, I'll give it as a unique. So course ID, I'm giving as a course name, I'll be giving as a separate, right? So is it creating is there any repetitive data in this smaller table? Understood now? Just give you one more example of this. This is also correct. Okay, so you just creating the smaller table. So another method you can give like this, like before applying to the normalization, it will be the common data. So I don't want each and every cell should be having this single data, and also it should be the unique. So whenever you converting into complex table into several smaller table, you can give this example also. Understood? Hope it's clear now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Take the example. This also. Example 2. I'm creating student and course table. So student table, I have a student data. Course table will have a course data.
Can you show example 1?
Yeah. So here, this is also correct. You have a this kind of also method, like you have a complex data. Whenever you will be before applying to the normalization, this will be the data. So after applying the normalization, it will be creating the each and every cell should be having the single values. So that's the reason it is converting like this, the data. So if you want to make a more so if you have a phone number, you cannot able to create it, right? Separately. Yes or no? So if you have a course, that's the reason you're creating the several smaller table. But phone number, we cannot able to create it. That's what we have given like this. So in step number 1 to step number 2. But if you have these kind of data, it depends on your requirement when you're converting into smaller tables. Okay. Just understand the concept. Okay, guys. whenever you're applying the first normal form, after creating the table, then it should be the data should be clean and connected. It should be the connected with the keys.
Can you scroll down?
Okay. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
So take it as a second NF means second normalization form 2NF. Normal form in the bracket 2NF. So here the first point, it should follow, it should be follow first normal forms rules. Or you can use the table, the table should be should be obeying first normal form rules. First normal form rules. Second one, second one. There should be, there should be, there should be functional dependency, functional dependency. There should be functional dependency between the columns, between the columns, between the columns. There should be functional dependency between the columns. There should be functional dependency between the columns. there should be, there should not be, there should be no partial dependency. No partial, okay, no partial, no partial dependency. No partial dependency. There should be functional dependency between the column. You can keep it this and only. There should be no partial dependency. There should be no partial dependency. So what is mean by functional dependency? What is mean by partial dependency? We can discuss this now. It's copied, right? Rules of second normal form.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll tell you this. So here I'll give the single value. Okay. So now we'll have all the data, right? I can add it two more columns, department number and department name. So department name, we can give it department number. I'll give it 10, 10, 20 and 30. Okay. And the software, I'll give it software admin and we'll give it develop. So we have a table. The first normal form, is it applied? It should be the unique, and there is no each and every cell should be having a single value. Is it followed? Yes or no? Is it followed, right? This table?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the second normal forms, I can see this. So what is mean by partial, first functional dependency? Okay. Functional dependency means directly it should be depends. Okay. And partial dependency. What does mean by partial dependency? Directly it is depends, right? So EMP name, it depends on serial number. Yes or no? Phone number is depends on the your unique ID serial number, and salary also it will be the depends on the serial number, and address also will be depends on your serial number of the employees unique ID. Correct? Yes. And department number also it is depends on your serial number. So the department number, it is depends on the department number only. Department number. Yes or no? So always when how I'll give, if it is department number 10, I can give a software. Yes. So what does mean I'm thoughting here? Functional dependency means, so till employee name and phone number, salary and address, department number, all the column is directly depending on to the unique value where it is having serial number. Okay. The partial dependency means if any of the table, if any of the non-primary key attributes is depending on the another non-primary key attributes, then it is called as a partial dependency. So these both are non-primary key attributes. So it depending on the another non-primary key attributes, this is called as a partial dependency. Clear? So for using this, I can able to segregate the two tables for this. Yes or no? I used to create, you remember this employee data and department data? We did it. So we separated with here department number is equal to, here we can give it department name. So what I can give it? Department number I can give it as a 10, 20 and 30 should be the unique, and department name should be, I can create it complex table into smaller tables. Okay, using the dependency and there is no redundancy. So based on that, I'll be making as a smaller table, clear table. Hope it's clear now. Is it created the separate table? Yes. Understood? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this was the complex table. So I'm making as a several table for understanding. So this, whatever the directly depending on the serial number, so those I'll be segregating the separate table, and indirectly the department name is depending on the department number, right? So I'm creating the unique table like this, like since I'll be department number should be I'm making as a unique, and I'll keep it as a department name based on the department number. Hope it's clear. So how we'll be creating? So you remember the foreign key where we have executed. So department number will be the foreign key. So in another table, it should be the unique data. Got it? So it means it should be the clean and correct data. It should not be the singles values, or it is not should be the repeated data. Making as a separate table, creating the separate table. Okay. So just copy this diagram. So will you guys take the picture and copy the later on this? Let's go. I'll give you the theoretical part.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, take the picture, leave some space. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Take the heading functional dependency. Functional dependency. All the non-primary key under that copy, all the non-primary key attributes in the table, all the non-primary key attributes in the table, these are the non-primary key attributes: EMP name, phone number, salary, address, and department number. Okay. All the non-primary key attributes in the table should be directly depending on all the non-primary key attributes in the table should be directly depending primary key attribute on the table. All the non-primary key attributes in the table should be directly depending depending primary key attributes on the table is called as functional dependency. Is called as functional dependency. Next line, partial dependency. partial dependency. Under that, in the table, in the table, if any of the non-primary key attributes in the table, in the table, if any of the non-primary key attributes depending on the another non-primary key attributes in the table, if any of the non-primary key attributes, if any of the non-primary key attributes depending on the another non-primary key attributes, then it is called as partial dependency. Then it is called as partial dependency. Done? Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next line, copy. With respect to this table, copy. With respect to above table, with respect to above table, all the non-primary key attributes, all the non-primary key attributes, that is, emp name, phone number, phone number, comma, phone number, comma, salary, and comma address, comma, department number. With respect to above table, all the non-primary key attributes, that is emp name, phone number, salary, address, department number, except department name, department name depends on employee ID. Depends on serial number. Here it is serial number, right? It depends on serial number. But but deputy name, deputy name depends on department number. Deputy name, department name is depends on department number. Since there is a partial dependency, since there is a partial dependency, we need to divide the table into smaller table. We need to divide, we need to divide, we need to divide the table into smaller table, smaller table. Is it done right? Last rule, third normal form or 3NF. Third normal form 3NF. Does this third normal form R3NF? So what is the first point of this? It should be follow. It should be follow first and second NF. First NF and second NF rules. Second point, no transitive dependency. No transitive dependency. Transitive means no column depends on another non-key values, non-key column data. So I can tell you that example. So we have, for example, student ID. Okay. And we have department ID. And we have department name. Okay. So in this, so the department name is depends on the department ID. Yes or no? This department name, it is depends on the department ID. Department ID is depends on the student ID. Yes, but is it department name is depend on directly on the student ID? No, right?
No, ma'am.
So what does the mean? Transitive means, so department ID is depend on the student ID. Department name is depend on the department ID. But there is no depend on the department name with student ID. Okay, this is the for third normal form where it is like no transitive dependency. This is a column depends on another there is no column depends on the another non-key columns. Clear? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Copy this. So just a simple way. So finally, I can call it as a simple way for this simple. What is the first NF will do it? It will remove the repetitive data. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Repeating data. Just remember for this, okay? Second NF, what it will do? Remove the partial dependency. Remove and create the separate table for partial dependency whenever you have. So then third NF will do it. What they will do it? Remove the indirect dependency. So the department name is indirectly depending on the student ID. So, but it will directly depending on the department ID. Okay. Indirect dependency. So hope is clear. This is a simple way for understanding. This is about the normalization form rules. Copied? So I have added one more example in the for 3NF in the notes. You guys can go through that. Okay, I'll share you the SQL notes also. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I hope it's copied now, everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Yeah. So this is all about the normalization form. Here, it's there is no example of this. This is the rules you have to follow before you applying the any of the creating the tables. Okay. So these are the rules also will added into that already. Like when you're that's what you're right now you're creating the single values. It won't when you're inserting the data itself, it won't accept the double data. Got it? So hope it's clear now. The normalization form. It's basically you just aware of that. What is this normalization form? Nobody will ask you, but you should aware of this. The rules. What are the simple rules? Okay, you can just remember this. First enough will do the repeating data. It should be having the single cell in the unique data. And second, whenever you have a partial dependency, it should follow the first rules. And along with this, whenever you have a partial dependency, you have to remove and make it as a several smaller tables. And when you come to the third normal forms, it should follow the first normal and second normal forms. And after that, whenever you have a indirect dependency, that we have to remove and keep it the separately. Okay, got it?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is all about the normalization form. Clear? So please go through that all the SQL concept. Okay, if you guys have any doubt, I'll make a schedule on the next week, a 1 day session. I'll let you know before the day, like when we'll be having one last session. That will be the discussion sessions. Okay, whatever you guys have a once you're ready with the discussion session, you guys can let me know in the group so we can schedule it on the days. Next week only I'll prepare it on this, and you guys have a mock next week. Please start do the preparation. I already provided the SQL concept, interview points, and mock interview questions. So go through that all the questions, okay, and practice on those things. I might ask syntax or queries or theoretical part in the mock. Okay, start do the preparation of that. Hope it's clear, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.